The Lord will help me in my need. Several Psalms describe what it feels like to feel distant from God and desperately need His help. So we're going to read those here, the articulation of that desperate need for His help. In Psalm 63, there are two verses that express that desperate need for His help and that feeling of distance from God. It says, O God, thou art my God. Early will I seek thee. My soul thirsteth for thee. My flesh longeth for thee in a dry and thirsty land where no water is. My soul followeth hard after thee. Thy right hand upholdeth me. Psalm 69 says, Save me, O God, for the waters are come in unto my soul. I sink in deep mire, where there is no standing. I am come into deep waters, where the floods overflow me. I am weary of my crying, my throat is dried, my eyes fail while I wait for my God. They that hate me without a cause are more than the hairs of my head. They that would destroy me, being my enemies wrongfully, are mighty. Then I restored that which I took not away. O God, thou knowest my foolishness, and my sins are not hid from thee. Let not them that wait on thee, O Lord of hosts, be ashamed for thy sake. Let not those that seek thee be confounded for my sake, O God of Israel. Because for thy sake I have borne reproach. Shame hath covered my face. I am become a stranger unto my brethren, and an alien unto my mother's children. Draw nigh unto my soul, and redeem it. Deliver me because of mine enemies. Thou hast known my reproach, and my shame, and my dishonour. My adversaries are all before thee. Reproach hath broken my heart, and I am full of heaviness. And I looked for some to take pity, but there was none, and for comforters, but I found none. They gave me also gall for my meat, and in my thirst they gave me vinegar to drink. Psalm 77. I cried unto God with my voice, even unto God with my voice, and he gave ear unto me. In the day of my trouble I sought the Lord. My sore ran in the night, and ceased not. My soul refused to be comforted. I remembered God and was troubled. I complained, and my spirit was overwhelmed. Thou holdest mine eyes waking. I am so troubled that I cannot speak. I have considered the days of old, the years of ancient times. I call to remembrance my song in the night. I commune with mine own heart, and my spirit made diligent search. Will the Lord cast off forever? And will he be favorable no more? Is his mercy clean gone forever? Does his promise fail forevermore? Hath God forgotten to be gracious? Hath he in anger shut up his tender mercies, Selah? Something that strikes me is that the person who is describing these feelings and this despair believe in God. They just believe that, or they're in this moment of distress that they know he's a source of strength, and they're crying out to him because they don't feel it. There are going to be a lot of moments like that in this earthly experience, and when you cry out to God, he answers in a lot of different ways. He doesn't like appear to you and talk to you, but he does respond to your prayers. So now we're going to read what gave the psalmist reassurance.
To see thy power and thy glory, so as I have seen thee in the sanctuary. Because thy loving kindness is better than life, my lips shall praise thee. Thus will I bless thee while I live. I will lift up my hands in thy name. My soul be satisfied as with marrow and fatness, and my mouth shall praise thee with joyful lips. When I remember thee upon my bed, and meditate on thee in the night watches, because thou hast been my help, therefore in the shadow of thy wings I will rejoice. My soul followeth hard after thee. Thy right hand upholdeth me. But those that seek my soul to destroy it shall go into the lower parts of the earth. They shall fall by the sword, it shall be a portion for foxes. But the king shall rejoice in God. Every one that sweareth by him shall glory. But the mouth of them that speaketh lies shall be stopped.
So what gave the psalmist reassurance here?
God.
How? Like, try to pick out a few words. Look at verse 5.
Marrow and fatness.
Well, how does he feel? Joyful.
Whole. Taken care of.
Taken care of. The word that's used there that kind of denotes that is satisfied. Do you guys know what it feels like to be unsatisfied?
Yeah.
And to seek satisfaction?
Yes.
Well, many times you feel like you can't be satisfied unless you have what you're longing for. Well, this psalmist says, I'll be satisfied with marrow and fatness. So marrow and fatness is like good. So he's saying, my soul shall be satisfied as with, as is a simile, meaning like, with
Mhm.
marrow and fatness. He's saying that he's going to feel satisfied. So think of something that you longed for, that you're just seeking satisfaction. You cry out to God for it. And what he gives you is satisfaction, but typically it's not the thing that you were longing for. But he satisfies that yearning to a degree that you don't feel it. It's satisfied. It's redeemed. It's paid for. It's swallowed up. It's fulfilled, right? Those are all words that describe what Jesus does for us. So look at verse 3. What's another word that reassures the psalmist in verse 3?
Because thy loving kindness is better than life.
So what reassures the psalmist?
His loving kindness.
His loving kindness. Oh, I always that little hand drawing of Jesus kneeling in front of a little kid and asks the little kid for the little teddy bear that it's clinging to, and he's holding a giant one behind his back that he's going to give him. Always comes to my mind. It's such a simple drawing, but it perfectly describes what God's asking us to do. And I remember seeing that on some social media platform, and so there were comments, and people were like, well, that kid probably has attachment. That bear's probably special. It's not just that, bigger is better. It's like, man, people don't really don't understand symbolism.
Everyone takes everything seriously.
The whole point is, yeah, the kid is attached to that comfort animal, that little teddy bear that it's probably had its whole life. It's attached to it for sure. It feels like it can't live without it. It feels like it has to have it. And the bigger bear just symbolizes that there's something greater
And what you're attached to.
that Jesus wants to give you. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's gonna be hard to give up what you're attached to, but
I used comedic shows growing up to kind of deal with my depression. I would watch a lot of comedy stuff. And that's how I got through high school, was watching comedic TV and movies. And so that's kind of my move, is to go watch something to feel better if I don't feel at peace. But what I found throughout all these years is this is true. His loving kindness is better than anything else. So even though my worldly body craves worldly relief, believing that turning to him and that he can satisfy the longing inside of me with his loving kindness, that's called faith. When you turn to him and it's true, and you find that it's true and it's what you want above all things, and suddenly you're functional, and suddenly you're at peace, and all the stuff that you were desperate about just kind of dissolves. And you're just like, oh, the world's a good place, actually, or the world's a place I can dwell in. It's going to be okay.
Mhm.
So, verse 6 talks about when he remembers, when he's laying in bed thinking of God and meditating on him and remembering him, his mouth shall praise him with joyful lips. So sometimes do you meditate on things that don't give you joy?
yeah.
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 So what reassures this psalmist is that when he meditates on the Lord, it brings him peace and joy. Because in verse 7, he says, God has been my help. He is reassured by previous experiences. He knows that God has helped him. He knows that God is a help. The spiritual experiences that I've had are the basis of my faith. I mean, they're what has taught me that he's real. Because I can understand all of this, like we talked about yesterday, how scholars can understand how all of it works. That doesn't necessarily mean that they believe that it's real.
Mhm.
Like, I could say, yeah, it's probably real, but I can know that it's real because of the help that's been given me.
You have a witness.
All right. Verse 8, what is reassuring to the psalmist in verse 8?
Thy right hand upholdeth me.
Have you ever been so exhausted when you're trying to do something that you feel like you're going to fall over, and you're with somebody who just kind of grabs you and holds you up, or puts their arm around you and holds you up so you can keep going? Like you have no power left in you, and without them holding you up, you would fall down.
Oh.
Imagine like you are with a guide in the desert, right? And they're used to it. Gosh, what did we just listen to? Or did you tell me about it? About that guy who got lost in the frozen tundra when he was a kid.
Fridtjof Nansen.
What's his name?
Fridtjof Nansen.
Fridtjof Nansen.
Yeah.
And so he went off and got lost and got used to it and came back, and he did that several times as a child and then became a guide, was it?
He became, I think it was, he led the most important Arctic expedition ever.
Gotcha. So he guided them, and all of them died except for him.
Yeah. I mean, maybe one other guy survived, but barely.
Right. So you're following this person that is exponentially more prepared than you for the conditions that you're in. And you're trying to keep up with them. And the further you go, the more you're fading away until you have no strength left. Well, there's two kinds of guides. There's the one that just keeps going because he knows that he'll die if he doesn't. And there's the one that turns around and grabs you and holds you up and helps you walk along the path so that you both can get there. Which one is Jesus?
And the second one?
So he says, my soul follows hard after thee. Like, I'm chasing you down. I'm trying to survive this with you. And you hold me up so I can survive it. You don't leave me behind. You make sure I get there. So it's interesting, the last few verses, he's talking about what's going to happen to his enemies. And I think people might struggle with this because it kind of sounds cold-hearted, right? But why would it reassure you? Like these last few verses here from 9 to 11. Those that seek my soul to destroy it will go into the lower parts of the earth. They'll fall by the sword. They'll be eaten up by foxes. Everyone that swears by him shall glory, but the mouth of them that speak lies shall be stopped. Why is that reassuring?
You mean evil won't prevail?
Evil won't get to you or anybody else.
Yeah. Well, if you are also, yeah, but if you're living in a place with your home, is it reassuring to know that the evil that dwells there will be removed completely?
Yes.
So
So you don't, like, it's not that you necessarily wish it ill will, but you're just like, now I don't have to deal with it anymore. Evil won't prevail. It'll be removed from your presence. You won't have to deal with it anymore. Gosh, I just watched something that traumatized me last night. It was about a girl who was attacked in her apartment on her mission. A dude broke in and tried to stab her and her companion to death and almost succeeded. And so she went back 2 years later. Yeah. She went back 2 years later for the trial and had to look him in the eye. And she said it was terrifying, a terrifying moment, because she fought him off like she's alive, because she and this other sister literally fought with him for like 15 minutes to keep him from stabbing them to death. Something that she said was that God had helped her forgive him, and going to that trial and knowing that he got 35 years in prison and was going to be deported when he got out, it didn't necessarily make her feel good that he was being punished. She said it was just that he couldn't hurt people anymore. She's like, God gave me compassion for him, and I wanted what was best for him, and I was able to completely forgive him. He was a 17-year-old little boy who I think was possessed by the devil. Wanting somebody to receive justice for being evil is not a bad thing, because justice is good. It redirects people, and it keeps people safe. So it's reassuring to know that somebody who wants to harm you cannot harm you anymore. Hey, will you read Psalm 69?
For the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up, and the reproaches of them that reproach me are fallen upon me. When I wept and chastened my soul with fasting, that was to my reproach. I made sackcloth also my garment, and became a proverb to them.
Keep going.
They that sit in the gate speak against me, and I was the song of the drunkards. But as for me, my prayer is unto thee, O Lord, in an acceptable time. O God, in the multitude of thy mercy hear me, in the truth of thy salvation. Deliver me out of the mire, and let me not sink. Let me be delivered from them that hate me, and out of the deep waters. Let not the waterflood overthrow me, neither let the deep swallow me up. And let not the pit shut her mouth upon me. Hear me, O Lord, for thy loving kindness is good. Turn unto me according to the multitude of thy tender mercies. Hide not thy face from thy servant. For I am in trouble, hear me speedily. Draw nigh unto my soul and redeem it. Deliver me because of mine enemies. Thou hast known my reproach and my shame, and my dishonour. Mine adversaries are all before thee. Reproach hath broken my heart, and I am full of heaviness. And I looked for some to take pity, but there was none, and for comforters, but I found none. They gave me also gall for my meat, in my thirst they gave me vinegar to drink. Let their table become a snare before them, and that which should have been for their welfare, let it become a trap. Let their eyes be darkened, that they see it not, and make their loins continually to shake. Pour out thine indignation upon them, and let thy wrathful anger take hold of them. Let their habitation be desolate, and let none dwell in their tents. For they persecute him whom thou hast smitten, and they talk to the grief of those whom thou hast wounded. Add iniquity unto their iniquity, and let them not come into thy righteousness. Let them be blotted out of the book of the living, and not be written with the righteous. But I am poor and sorrowful. Let thy salvation, O God, set me up on high. I will praise the name of God with a song, and will magnify him with thanksgiving. This also shall please the Lord better than an ox or bullock that hath horns and a bone. The humble shall see this and be glad, and your heart shall live to seek that God. For the Lord heareth the poor, and despiseth not his prisoners. Let the heaven and earth praise him, the seas and everything that moveth therein. For God shall save Zion, and will build the cities of Judah, that they might dwell there, and have it in possession. The seed also of his servants shall inherit it, and they that love his name shall dwell therein.
I think the most reassurance, I mean, there's words sprinkled throughout that of like salvation and help me, and God is righteous and has set me up on high. But the last few verses, I think, is the greatest reassurance. He hears the poor and despises not his prisoners. God will save Zion. He will build the cities of Judah. So you have to understand what Zion is if you want to find that reassuring, right? So why is it reassuring that God will save Zion?
Because we are Zion.
What is Zion?
His people, his kingdom.
It's the kingdom of God, right? Who can be part of Zion?
Anyone who takes it up.
Who wants to join in?
Yeah.
It's true. There's a lot of reassuring things in there, but we're going to go to the next one. Psalm 77. I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember the wonders of old. I will meditate also of all thy work and talk of thy doings. Thy way, O God, is in the sanctuary. Who is so great a God as our God? Thou art the God that doest wonders. Thou hast declared thy strength among the people. Remember when we said, we talked about nonverbal communication, how talking and declaring could mean nonverbal things as well.
Mm-hmm.
How has God declared his strength among the people? He has through prophets, for sure. But how has he shown strength?
Miracle.
Verse 15. Thou hast with thine arm redeemed thy people, the sons of Jacob and Joseph. Are we the sons of Jacob and Joseph?
We are.
The waters saw thee, O God, the waters saw thee. They were afraid, the depths also were troubled. The clouds poured out water, the skies sent out a sound, thine arrows also went abroad. The voice of thy thunder was in the heaven, the lightnings lightened the world, the earth trembled and shook. Thy way is in the sea, and thy path in the great waters, and thy footsteps are not known. Thou leddest thy people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. Did any of those verses remind you of a Greek god? Your voice thundered, and your lightnings lightened the world.
You're saying Zeus?
Yeah. I think it's interesting that there is so much similarity between all of the different iterations of worshiping gods. I think they all came from the original one. The original knowledge of who God is and who Jesus Christ the Savior is what was given to the world, the mankind from the beginning. It was in the psyche of all the humans that have ever lived. And so all of the myths that they create always contain some little seed of what is real. Because they can't create things. Creation comes from God. And if you want to create something, you have to work with God. If you abandon God and go try to create your own thing, all you can do is use what you already have. And so the people who went off and tried to do their own thing based it on what's real. They just corrupted it.
I feel like that's the world's favorite.
Corrupt things?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So he's going to talk about in verse 78, he's going to Sing the praises of the Lord, and his strength and his wonderful works that he hath done. He has established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, he commanded them to make known to their children, so they could set their hope in God and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandment. The children of Ephraim, being armed and carrying bows, turned back in the day of battle. They kept not the covenant of God and refused to walk in his law, forgot his works and his wonders that he showed them. He did marvelous things in the sight of their fathers in the land of Egypt. He divided the sea and caused them to pass through, and he made the waters to stand as a heap. In the daytime also he led them with a cloud, and all the night with the light of fire. He clave the rocks in the wilderness, and gave them drink as out of the great depths. He brought streams also out of the rock, caused waters to run down like rivers. They sinned yet more against him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness. And they tempted God in their heart by asking meat for their lust. They spake against God, and they said, Can God furnish a table in the wilderness? Behold, he smote the rock that the waters gushed out, and the streams overflowed. Can he give bread also? Can he provide flesh for his people? This one is talking about all that he did for Egypt, right? It's basically talking about the story of God giving all these miracles to these people who he was leading, even though they kept turning away from him. And his wrath would fall on them sometimes. He didn't abandon them. Verse 38 says, But he, being full of compassion, forgave their iniquity, and destroyed them not. Many a time turned he his anger away. He did not stir up all his wrath. For he remembered that they were but flesh, a wind that passes away and comes not again. How oft did they provoke him in the wilderness and grieve him in the desert? So he sent all of these afflictions to try and turn them back to him.
Oh, Israel.
So he led his people on to safety, though, brought them to the border of his sanctuary, even to his mountain. He cast out the heathen and divided them an inheritance. Yeah, this is a really long psalm.
Is this the one that's like 73 verses?
Yeah. So the last verse says, He fed them according to the integrity of his heart and guided them by the skillfulness of his hands. So that was basically a retelling of the story of the Jews fleeing from Egypt, right? And it's a long story of them not deserving his help and still receiving it because of his compassionate love and mercy. When you are distressed, as these people are describing their distress, how does that help you to remember the works of the Lord and his wonders of old?
It's the same God. He's the same God. He's not going to just stop helping all of a sudden.
He seemed to have an answer for all their problems, didn't he?
Yeah.
Do you think he has an answer to your problems?
Yes.
Absolutely.
He has an answer to everything.
And something that I was told, I was healed from something that was so profoundly impactful on my life. He just healed me of it. And when I was healed, I was like, I don't understand how in a moment my entire life can be changed, how he could just do that. Like, it just didn't seem like I knew it was possible, but when it happened, it was like he just flicked a switch and suddenly it was gone. And I was like, I couldn't believe that he did something like that for me. It was like, but then something that I was told was that it actually was it was so easy for him to do. It was like nothing. And I think it taught me that I don't ask for his help very much because I don't want to be an imposition on God. Like, I don't want him to have to expend his energy on me. And it just blew my mind that he would do something so profound. And what I've been taught by this world is don't be an imposition on other people. People have got their own stuff going on. Don't impose on them. Well, that's not God. Helping you is very easy for him. It's not like we're imposing on him. You're not an imposition. It's not supposed to be your job to just deal with it. A lot of times the reason that you are afflicted is like all of these verses that we didn't read in 78, a lot of them were like God did these things, sent these afflictions to turn them back to him. If you're not using what you experience to work with God and learn of God and get closer to him by reaching out to him and calling to him, then you're wasting the affliction. There's no point in it if you're just suffering. And God doesn't want you to just suffer. He wants you to use that suffering, and he will make every weakness a strength, right?
Mm-hmm.
He will make every affliction for your good, turn out to be for your good.
Mm-hmm.
So actually you are kind of rejecting the whole process if you don't turn to him. That's the point of it. And also God doesn't want you to feel pain unless it is purposeful. He wants you to feel not an ounce more of pain than is necessary to teach you what you need to know, right? And so don't feel like, well, pain, this world is pain and I should just be tough and deal with it. It's like, well, no, you shouldn't deal with any more than you have. And some people deal with an incredible amount of pain. But if you turn to God, he can unburden you of the full force of it if it's not necessary for you to experience that. So in verse 7 here, it says that they might set their hopes in God and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments. So he's saying, like, he said that they started teaching their children about the huge story of the Exodus, right? So that they might set their hope in God and not forget what he has done. And that will help them keep the commandments. So does reading about these things and knowing about these things, having them in your mind, help you set your hope in God?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because some of these things could feel really remote, it's like a culture thousands of years ago. You don't see God parting the Red Sea these days, right? He does do miracles like that. It's just not written in a Bible and sent all over the world for everyone to study for thousands of years.
And he's probably not doing it to people who are like, guys, you'll never believe what happened to me today. Check the link in my bio.
Probably not. But he is a God of miracles still. Like you said, he hasn't changed. He's the same. And the scriptures say if miracles have ceased, it's because faith has ceased. Right?
Right.
So believe that he can help you. Set your hope in him. So you're still going to go through things. It's not like you went through this big hard thing and then now you're done being tested. You passed the test and now you get to go live your life. There are many, many more opportunities for you to remember him and grow deeper in your faith for him. And I've experienced the same thing since I was healed. How many times have I been like, I shouldn't have any problems with my with despair or stress or any of these things because I should just rest in the beauty that was that miracle. But I tell you what, the struggles are still there. And I have to remember constantly his works to remember that he is still here and is still a part of everything. Well, one of the things that this chapter or Psalm 78 was doing was helping them remember what happened to the Jews as they left Egypt. So reminding you of what God did for other people. You can remember what he did for you, but also you can think about all the people that you know that have had these miraculous experiences where God saved them, right?
Right.
So just recall those works in your lives to help you have hope in God.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Love you guys.
Love you, Mama.